Roccat has been slowly revealing a lot of new products over the past year, and I've admittedly been struggling to keep up with their new releases. The Syn Pro Air is their latest and most premium wireless headset, and I have one here in the studio to review. The Roccat Syn Pro Air is a wireless RGB PC gaming headset that retails for $150. However, I have seen this device for as little as $110 over on Amazon. If by the end of this review you decide to pick one up or any other product that I mention, please use our affiliate links to do so. The stealthy black finish for the Syn Pro Air is understated. The modern design is a welcome departure from other mainstream gaming headsets. Even the RGB lighting effects are surprisingly restrained. The subtle honeycomb illumination pattern has a small area of effect that disappears entirely when not in use. Most of the body is composed of a matte black plastic that is both durable and flexible. At just 360 grams, they're lighter than most other wireless headsets that I've reviewed. While it's designed for PC and the accompanying software will only work on PC, the Syn Pro Air is still functional on PlayStation consoles, Nintendo Switch, and macOS. Sorry, Xbox fans. The lack of Bluetooth means it does not work with mobile devices either. The 2.4 GHz dongle, however, provides a powerful low-latency connection that is generally preferable to Bluetooth anyway. The internal battery lasts up to 24 hours, but if you're in a bind, it can provide 5 hours of play from just 15 minutes of charge using the included USB-C cable. However, use of the RGB effects will likely reduce this lifespan. The lighting covers the bottom corner of each ear cup and is significantly more prominent in the promotional materials than it is in real life. Thankfully, these ear cups can fold flat, making them much easier to store and travel with. Instead of an adjustable head strap, the ear cups themselves automatically adhere to the size and shape of the user's head. The ProSpecs Earcup Pads are made of memory foam that has a small channel for glasses arms to pass through. Not only is this designed to be more comfortable for those with glasses, it also means glasses can be removed and returned without having to take off the headset. Sound is pumped through large 50mm drivers, and the detachable TrueSpeak mic features the same flip up to mute functionality seen on other Roccat and Turtle Beach devices. Textured knobs to control the volume and mic monitoring levels can be found on the rear of the left and right ear cups respectively. PC users will be happy to hear that the physical volume knob syncs up with the Windows volume level in real time. That's something my $350 Sennheiser headset doesn't even do. Speaking of Windows, the Syn Pro Air is compatible with Roccat's Neon software. This software can be paired with other Roccat peripherals to adjust settings and control lighting effects. The Settings tab provides users with options to modify superhuman hearing, 3D audio, game spatializer, channel mix, game dialogue, noise gate, and mic monitoring levels. It also allows users to adjust the volume and mic levels, and modifying the volume level from here also syncs with Windows. The EQ tab allows users to fine-tune the sound of their headset or activate treble or bass boost for a quick and dirty modification. The Illumination tab is where users are intended to make modifications to the integrated lighting effects. By default, the Syn Pro Air uses Roccat's proprietary AMO lighting effect, which I've covered in detail in a separate video. On paper, it's an intelligent lighting system that features dynamic and organic effects. In practice, it essentially looks like a rainbow wave effect on a mild acid trip. To be fair though, its true potential is only realized when using multiple AMO-compatible peripherals, since the effect will jump from one device to another. Roccat's new Cone wired and wireless Pro mice are examples of supported devices. I have those devices in the studio, so make sure you're subscribed so you're notified when that review becomes available. It would appear that the Syn Pro Air has a lot going for it, but how was my personal experience? I have to say, I really appreciate the trend of gaming peripherals beginning to look more and more like standard PC peripherals and less like sci-fi original movie props. The Syn Pro Air looks just as much at home in a gaming setup as it does in a professional environment. I actually used this exact headset in several virtual meetings for work, and no one was the wiser. The device seems sturdy enough, but the plastic does feel a bit on the cheap side. Although not as bad as glossy plastic, the matte finish doesn't do a great job of concealing greasy fingerprints. The knobs have a rubber texture on them with a pronounced resistance. I also really like the fact that the knobs were placed on different ear cups. Other headsets with similar options will place the knobs on the back of the same ear cup, making it easier to accidentally confuse them. This is a subtle detail that's greatly appreciated. I would have loved the option to reprogram the knobs to adjust sliders like superhuman hearing or channel mix levels. Sorry, gotta pause for 1 second. Editing Mason here. So from the time I wrote this script till now, Roccat has updated the Neon software and added an Assignments tab. As expected, this allows the user to map physical inputs on the headset to different settings outside of the default configuration. It's really encouraging to see Roccat adding features and functionality to their software. I was impressed by the wireless connection specifically, which was always clear, reliable, and fast. Support for USB headsets, however, remains ambiguous on the Xbox family of consoles. I've seen conflicting reports that various USB headsets have been working on Xbox Series devices. I've tested many USB headsets, and I've never managed to get one functioning on Xbox, including, unfortunately, the Syn Pro Air. The natural sound signature was loud and well balanced, but thanks to the equalizer in the Neon app, users can customize that to their liking.
The mic, however, was less impressive, which I found surprising because it's advertised as being Turtle Beach's TrueSpeak microphone, which I've used on Turtle Beach headsets in the past and been generally impressed with. I mentioned previously that mic quality is far less important than audio quality because technically your mic quality is kind of everyone else's problem, not yours. While that may always be true, a good microphone is becoming increasingly important as the streaming industry continues to grow. For those just getting started with their streaming career, this might be their first microphone, and I can't imagine listening to this for an extended period of time.
Battery life performed about as expected. While it didn't achieve the advertised 24 hours, I do believe that figure is possible with the lights turned off, volume at a moderate level, and various other settings disabled. The lay-flat design, lightweight, and removable mic means you can easily take these headphones on the go. It's a shame that it doesn't include Bluetooth though, because it would actually make a really great pair of mobile headphones as well. The software is great in some ways, but straight up broken in others. The settings tab works great. Every option is responsive and does exactly what is expected. I found the superhuman hearing option particularly useful, but its impact varies heavily on the game being played. It's intended to amplify specific frequencies in order to give the player greater positional awareness. The level of superhuman hearing influence can be adjusted, but I found that more than halfway up starts to stray too far from the game's original sound design. Here's a sample of gameplay with superhuman hearing disabled and enabled at its default level. As you can hopefully hear, superhuman hearing definitely amplifies sounds like footsteps to make them more apparent. This experience was echoed by the results of a recent study conducted by Real Industry. The study showed that superhuman hearing quantifiably improved gaming performance. It found that average match lifespan increased by 20% and game stats improved by over 40%. Now, it's important to take claims like this with a grain of salt. Only a handful of games were tested, the participants were largely homogeneous in their demographical makeup, and sample size was only a little over 100 participants. And as far as I can tell, the study wasn't performed blindly by the participants. But any study that at least attempts to measure real-world performance against a company's claims is cool to see. A link to the full details of the study can be found in the description below. The EQ settings normally work well, but it occasionally forgets my preferences. This requires me to go back into the software and adjust all of the sliders again, which isn't as fun as it sounds. The Illumination tab, however, is really broken. First of all, the lighting effects were pretty underwhelming. While I don't personally care much for RGB effects on my gaming headset, I can see someone who does being really disappointed here. The AMO effect is the only viable option. The Illumination tab does allow the user to pick a custom effect, but there's only one choice. Color Wave is the only effect. There's no breathe effect or even an option to set a static color. But not only that, the color wave effect doesn't even work. I've messed with every conceivable option on this tab, and the only thing I can do to make the headset light up is use the AMO effect. I think I speak for everyone when I say I would prefer removing the AMO effect entirely if it meant just having a handful of standard lighting effects that actually worked. The application is lightweight, thankfully, so it shouldn't be a problem to have it running while your game is open. But I did find that whenever I go to move the window, the application crashes. Roccat does provide users with a way to connect with them for support or feedback. It's accessible by clicking the gear icon. Not a speech bubble, not a phone or a headset, a gear icon. As someone who works a lot with UI UX design, this is a sin. I found the Neon software useful and intuitive, but there are some glaring issues that definitely need to be addressed. Honestly, I could overlook the software issues, but the comfort of this headset is where the experience starts to fall apart for me. Now I say for me because as far as I can tell, I'm apparently the only one that's had an issue with the comfort of it. It feels perfectly fine when I first put it on, but my ears start to hurt after about 45 minutes of use. If I push through it, I can go as long as 2 hours before the pain becomes too distracting to continue. For $150, obviously, I don't expect the Syn Pro Air to be the most comfortable thing in the world, but I also don't expect to be in pain either. Now, I hate to be so critical without being able to point to a specific issue, but the truth is, I don't know what the problem is. Maybe my ears are too big or my head is a funky shape, but it just wasn't pleasant for me to wear for an extended period of time. The Roccat Syn Pro Air is a well-rounded wireless headset with a fair price tag. It's feature-rich, that sounds great, and feels sturdy. The included software has potential, but also has some bugs to work out. And while I don't personally find it comfortable, I acknowledge that I appear to be in the minority. If you have average-sized ears or smaller, and you don't really care much for lighting effects, then this could be a great option, especially at that reduced price. Affiliate links to buy anything mentioned in this video can be found right below that like button, and down there you will also find links to our store where you can pick up one of our custom TechFox shirts. Finally, make sure you're subscribed so you know when our latest videos are available. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.